It took me 50 years to realize what I'll tell you in 20 minutes. What if I told you that everything you've been searching for, happiness, fulfillment, purpose, has been within you all along? What if I told you that the things we chase for decades, money, success, approval, were never the things that truly mattered? I spent 50 years learning these lessons, and today I want to share them with you in the next 20 minutes. I wish someone had told me these things when I was younger, but I also know that some lessons in life can only be learned through experience. If you're in your 60s or beyond, this message is especially for you. Because if there's one thing we know better than anyone, it's that time moves fast. Faster than we ever imagined. 1. Time is your most valuable asset. If there's one thing I wish I had understood earlier, it's the true value of time. When you're young, time feels infinite. You believe there will always be more days, more opportunities, more chances to make things right. But then, one day, you wake up and realize that the past 50 years have slipped through your fingers like sand. And no matter how much money you have, how much success you've achieved, or how many regrets you carry, you can never buy back a single second. I spent too many years chasing things that I thought mattered: careers, promotions, financial security, recognition. I believed that if I worked just a little harder, saved just a little more, or achieved just one more goal, I would finally reach a place where I could slow down and enjoy life. But here's the truth that took me decades to understand. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It moves forward whether you are paying attention or not. And if you are too busy planning for tomorrow, you will miss today. The way we spend our time is the truest reflection of what we value. And for too long, I spent mine on things that, in the end, didn't bring me the fulfillment I thought they would. I prioritized work over moments with family. I worried about what others thought instead of doing what truly made me happy. I assumed there would always be more time to say what needed to be said, to mend relationships, to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. But there wasn't. Looking back, I realized that every second spent with the people you love, every moment of peace, every experience that fills your heart, those are the true riches of life. Time is not something you can earn, save, or multiply. It is something you can only use wisely. And the sad reality is that most of us don't recognize its value until we start to run out of it. So if you are reading this and you still have time left, spend it wisely. Spend it with people who bring you joy. Spend it doing things that make you feel alive. Spend it making memories, telling people you love them, forgiving, laughing, and appreciating the beauty of simply being here. Because one day, the only thing that will matter is how you used the time you were given. And the greatest tragedy is not losing time, it's realizing too late that you never truly lived it. 2. Happiness comes from within, not from achievements. For most of my life, I believed happiness was something I had to earn. I thought it was the natural reward of success, the prize waiting at the end of hard work and sacrifice. I convinced myself that once I had the right job, the right house, the right amount of money in the bank, then, and only then, would I finally feel at peace. But after decades of chasing achievement after achievement, I realized something that shook me to my core. Happiness was never something to be earned. It was something I had to choose. I had spent years telling myself, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, when I retire, when I have enough money to not worry, when everything in my life finally falls into place. But that moment never came, because every time I reached one goal, another one took its place. Every time I checked off an accomplishment, my mind moved on to the next. And in the process, I had spent years postponing my happiness, as if it were some distant destination I had to struggle toward. Then one day I met an old friend who had far less than I did: less money, less stability, fewer achievements by society's standards. But he was happier than anyone I had ever known. He laughed easily, lived simply, and found joy in the smallest of things. When I asked him how he did it, his answer was so simple, yet so profound. He said, "I stopped waiting for happiness. I decided to feel it in every ordinary moment." That conversation changed me. It made me realize that happiness isn't found in a bank account, a job title, or a retirement plan. It's found in the quiet moments we too often overlook: the warmth of the morning sun, a shared meal with someone you love, a deep breath of fresh air, a song that takes you back in time. Happiness isn't something you arrive at, it's something you allow yourself to feel right now, exactly where you are. The biggest mistake we make is believing that happiness is a reward waiting at the finish line. But life has no finish line, only the moments passing us by. The truth is, if you cannot find happiness in the little things today, you won't find it in the big things tomorrow. The best years of your life aren't the ones where everything goes perfectly. They are the ones where you learn to embrace the imperfections and find joy in the journey itself. 3. People matter more than anything else. If there's one truth I've come to understand after all these years, it's that life is not about what you accomplish. It's about who you share it with. We spend so much time trying to build something for ourselves: careers, businesses, reputations, only to realize, often too late, that none of it means anything without the people who truly matter. I used to believe success would bring me fulfillment. I thought that if I worked hard enough, provided well enough, and achieved enough, everything else would naturally fall into place. But in my pursuit of making something of myself, I neglected what was most important: the people I loved. I missed too many dinners, skipped too many phone calls, and let too many moments pass by, thinking there would always be more time. But time has a way of teaching us lessons in the hardest ways. I've sat at funerals and watched as the world moved on without people who once seemed so permanent. I've seen friends become strangers simply because neither of us made the effort to keep in touch. I've let pride keep me from saying I'm sorry, and fear keep me from saying I love you. And now, when I look back, the things I regret the most have nothing to do with my career, my finances, or my achievements. I regret the conversations I didn't have, the embraces I didn't give, the moments I let slip away. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you have if you have no one to spend it with. It doesn't matter how successful you are if you have no one to celebrate with. It doesn't matter how many years you live if you spend them alone. The people in your life, the ones who have laughed with you, cried with you, supported you, and challenged you, are your greatest wealth. So if you still have time, use it wisely. Call the friend you haven't spoken to in years. Visit the family member you've been meaning to see. Forgive the person you've held a grudge against for too long. Because in the end, the only thing that will truly matter is the love you shared and the connections you nurtured. People are not guaranteed to be here forever. Don't wait until it's too late to appreciate them. 4. Let go of the past. It's done. For many years, I carried my past like a weight on my shoulders. I replayed old mistakes, relived painful moments, and held on to regrets like they were debts I still had to pay. I thought that if I analyzed the past enough, if I punished myself enough, somehow I could change it. But the truth, the hard truth that took me decades to accept, is that the past cannot be rewritten, only released. It's strange how we hold on to things that hurt us. We replay conversations, wondering what we should have said. We revisit old wounds, reopening them just to feel the familiar sting. We regret the time we wasted, the people we lost, the choices we didn't make. But no matter how much we dwell on it, The past remains exactly where it is, behind us. The only thing we accomplish by holding on to it is robbing ourselves of the present. I used to believe that regret was a sign of responsibility, that by carrying my past mistakes with me, I was somehow making up for them. But I've come to understand that growth does not come from living in the past. It comes from learning from it and moving forward. There is no amount of guilt that will change what has already happened. There is no amount of overthinking that will alter history. And there is no amount of regret that will give you back the years you lost. The only thing you can do is let it go. Let go of the words you wish you had said, the apologies you never received, the people who hurt you, and the opportunities you missed. Let go of the version of yourself that you no longer are and allow yourself to embrace the person you have become. Because if you are still here, if you are still breathing, then life has given you something far more valuable than a second chance at the past. It has given you this moment right now. I have wasted too much time looking backward, only to realize that life is happening in front of me, and I refuse to lose any more of it to a past that no longer exists. If you too have been carrying your past with you, I hope you find the strength to put it down. Not because it doesn't matter, but because you deserve to live the rest of your life unburdened by what you cannot change. 5. Stop worrying about what others think. For too many years, I lived my life with an invisible weight on my shoulders, the opinions of others. I measured my success by how others perceived me. I second-guessed my decisions based on what people might say. I held back my true thoughts, my real dreams, and even my happiness, all because I was afraid of judgment. And now, looking back, I realized just how much time I wasted worrying about people who were too busy worrying about themselves. It's a cruel trick life plays on us. When we are young, we crave approval. We want to fit in, to be admired, to be seen as successful in the eyes of others. We shape our choices around expectations. What kind of job to pursue, what kind of house to buy, what kind of life to live. But then, as we get older, we realize something that should have been obvious all along. Nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are. People are wrapped up in their own worries, their own insecurities, their own lives. The ones who judge you harshly are often battling their own doubts. The ones who criticize are often afraid to look at their own flaws. And the ones whose approval you seek, they will move on with their lives while you are left holding the burden of their expectations. I wish I had understood this sooner. I wish I had spent less time pleasing people who would never be satisfied and more time doing what truly made me happy. Because the truth is, you do not owe anyone an explanation for the way you live your life. You do not have to justify your choices, your dreams, or your happiness to anyone who does not walk in your shoes. If you still find yourself worrying about what others think, ask yourself this. When your final days come, will their opinions matter? Will you regret not having lived fully because you were too afraid of being judged? Or will you wish you had cared less and lived more? I have reached a point in my life where I refuse to let the opinions of others dictate my joy. I speak my truth. I live in a way that feels right to me, and I no longer seek validation from people who do not walk my path. And let me tell you, there is freedom in that. There is peace in that. And I hope that if you are still carrying the weight of other people's expectations, you find the strength to set it down and finally live for yourself. 6. Your health is the foundation of everything. I used to believe that time was my greatest asset, but as the years passed, I realized that time means nothing if you don't have the health to enjoy it. We spend our younger years pushing our bodies to their limits, taking our health for granted as if we will always have the strength we do today. We skip sleep for work, eat whatever is convenient, ignore small aches,
and tell ourselves we'll start taking care of ourselves someday. But then one day, we wake up and our body reminds us that someday is no longer an option. I've watched too many people spend their lives working tirelessly, building their futures, saving for retirement, only to reach that long-awaited moment and realize their bodies can no longer keep up with their dreams. What good is financial security if you don't have the strength to travel, to play with your grandchildren, to wake up each morning without pain? What good is a long life if you are not well enough to live it fully? The truth is, your health is not just a part of your life. It is the foundation of everything. Without it, even the simplest joys become burdens. And yet, we often neglect it until we are forced to pay attention. We wait until the diagnosis comes, until the mobility fades, until the doctor warns us that the damage cannot be undone. And then, we wish we had done things differently. I'm not saying that we can stop aging. No matter how well we take care of ourselves, time will still leave its mark. But I have learned that we can choose how we age. We can treat our bodies with care, nourish them with good food, keep them moving, and listen when they whisper instead of waiting until they scream. We can give ourselves the best chance at a life that is not just long, but full. If I could go back and give my younger self one piece of advice, it would be this. Take care of yourself now so that you don't spend your later years wishing you had. Health is not a guarantee, but the choices you make today will determine the quality of the years ahead. And when the time comes to slow down, may it be by choice, not because your body gives you no other option. 7. Find purpose in every season of life. There was a time when I thought purpose was something fixed, something you found early in life and held on to until the end. I believed purpose was tied to the roles we played, being a provider, a parent, a worker, a builder of something tangible. But as the years passed, and as life changed in ways I never expected, I came to understand that purpose is not something we lose, it is something we evolve. Many people reach a certain age and feel as though their best years are behind them. They retire from careers that once gave them direction. Their children grow up and no longer depend on them the way they once did. The world moves forward, sometimes feeling as if it has left them behind. And in that quiet space, where the demands of life have lessened, a question lingers. What now? I have seen people struggle with this transition, believing that if they are no longer needed in the same ways, they are no longer needed at all. But that is a lie we tell ourselves. Purpose does not disappear with age. It simply shifts. The mistake we make is believing that purpose is always about doing, when in reality, purpose is about being. It is about showing up, sharing wisdom, offering kindness, and being present for the people who need us, even in ways we may not yet see. I have found purpose in the smallest of moments, in conversations with younger people seeking guidance, in comforting a friend going through loss, in sharing the lessons I once had to learn the hard way. I have found purpose in presence, in patience, in simply being someone who listens when others need to be heard. And I have come to realize that purpose is not always about what we accomplish, but about how we make others feel. No matter how many years we have lived, we are still here. And as long as we are still here, we still have something to give. We still have stories to tell, wisdom to pass down, love to offer, and moments to experience. Purpose is not just in grand achievements. It is in the way we touch lives, the way we leave the world a little better than we found it. If you ever find yourself questioning your worth, wondering if your time of meaning has passed, remember this. Your existence alone carries purpose. There is still life to be lived, still lessons to be learned, still love to be given. Your purpose is not behind you. It is right here, in front of you, waiting to be embraced. 8. Gratitude changes everything. There was a time when I believed happiness was something I had to chase. I thought it was tied to success, to financial security, to reaching milestones that would finally make me feel content. But as the years passed, I realized that the people who were truly at peace were not necessarily the ones who had the most. They were the ones who appreciated what they had. The richest man is not the one who has everything, but the one who knows how to see the value in what is already his. Gratitude is a perspective, not a reaction. Too often, we wait for life to be perfect before we allow ourselves to feel grateful. We tell ourselves we will be thankful once we have more money, better health, or fewer struggles. But the truth is, there will always be something missing, something imperfect, something that didn't go as planned. If we keep waiting for everything to be just right, we will spend our whole lives waiting. But if we choose to find gratitude in the present, even in the midst of uncertainty, then we will realize that we have already been surrounded by so much goodness. Looking back, I see how many moments of joy I let pass by unnoticed. The simple warmth of the morning sun on my skin, the sound of my child's laughter, the quiet companionship of someone I love sitting beside me, those were the moments that made life beautiful. But I was too busy looking forward to the next big thing, too caught up in what I didn't have, that I failed to appreciate what was already in front of me. Now, I understand that gratitude is not just about being thankful for the obvious blessings in life. It is about recognizing the beauty in the ordinary. I have met people who have lost everything and yet still wake up with a grateful heart. I have met others who seem to have it all yet never feel satisfied. The difference is not in their circumstances, but in their mindset. Gratitude does not erase pain, but it changes the way we carry it. It reminds us that even in difficult times, there is still light. Even in loss, there is still love. Even in aging, there is still wisdom and purpose. If I have learned anything, it is this. Gratitude is a daily choice. It is not about ignoring hardships, but about shifting our focus toward what is still good. Life is fleeting, and every moment we waste wishing for something different is a moment we will never get back. But when we learn to appreciate what we have right now exactly as it is, we discover that happiness was never something to be found in the future. It was always here, waiting for us to notice.
Live fully, love deeply, and leave no regrets. 50 years have taught me more than I ever expected. And yet, if I could go back, I would do one thing differently. I would live with more awareness of what truly matters. Life moves faster than we realize. When we are young, we believe we have endless time, endless chances, and endless roads ahead. We rush through moments, always looking forward to the next stage, always thinking the best days are somewhere in the future. But what I know now is that life is happening right now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but in this very moment. And the way we choose to live it determines whether we will look back with peace or with regret. I have spent too much time worrying about success, about money, about what people thought of me. I have held on to mistakes longer than I should have, allowing the weight of the past to dim the joy of the present. I have wasted years trying to reach some version of happiness that was always just out of reach, when all along, happiness was in the simplest things: the warmth of a loved one's hand, the laughter of a friend, the quiet peace of a morning spent watching the sun rise. If there is one lesson I want to leave behind, it is this: live now. Live with intention, with presence, with appreciation for what is in front of you. The best moments of your life are not necessarily the biggest ones, but the quiet, ordinary days that you will someday wish you could relive. Love fully, Tell people how much they mean to you while you still can. Call the people you miss. Forgive the ones who have wronged you, not because they always deserve it, but because you deserve to be free of the burden of resentment. Do not let the small annoyances of life rob you of its beauty. Do not let pride or fear keep you from making amends. In the end, none of the things we chase will matter as much as the people we love and the connections we build. Take care of your body, not because you fear aging, but because your health allows you to enjoy the years you are given. Find purpose in every stage of life. Do not fall into the trap of thinking your best years are behind you. Every day that you wake up is a chance to do something meaningful, to share wisdom, to leave the world a little better than you found it. Most of all, choose gratitude. No matter what has happened, no matter what has been lost, no matter what regrets you carry, you are still here. You still have time to love, to grow, to experience joy. Do not waste it dwelling on what cannot be changed. Let go of the past, let go of the fear of the future, and embrace the life you have today. Someday, our time will run out. But until then, let us live in a way that when the final day comes, we can look back and say, I truly lived. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.